This intimate knowledge of God happens through experience. When I had the heart attack issue back a couple years ago, and we went to get these blood tests, and the blood tests were all messed up, and high platelets, high elevated everything. It was a disaster. I knew for sure I was going to have cancer. And the doctor didn't say that. I said to the doctor, Doc, I said, is it cancer? Dana was there with me. I said, is it cancer? And he says, I'm not saying that. And I know why he didn't want to say it, but the truth is that's what it was going to be. And I bowed my head and I thought, and I'm like, well, Lord, if this is the time, now I don't want to go that way, and I don't want any of you to go that way, and I pity the people that do go that way, okay? So this is not to minimize that. But I remember we prayed and 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 prayed and prayed. And finally came the time when I'm sitting at the doctor's office and they pulled 12 vials of blood. I tell people I was anemic. They took so much blood I was, shaking. And they did the tests and they came back. And we were sitting there in this chair, and I had to come to a resolve in my life that if this is what God does, this is what God does. And I'm not trying to put on a show. I'm not trying to be stronger. Inside, I was weak. But what I do know is when I am weak, that's when I'm strong. So we were there, and the lady came in, and she said to me, the nurse says, what have you been doing? And I said, well, I've been praying a lot. And she says, because your blood tests are just spot on perfect. I said, well, so I've been praying a lot. She left, another nurse came back in and said, before the doctor comes in, she wants to know, what have you been doing? I said, I've been praying a lot. Been spending a lot of time with my Lord, talking to him about this. And I tell you, that's the intimate knowledge of God. That's when you experience the fullness of his power. It's what Job said in Job 42:5, I have heard of thee by the hearing of the ear, but now mine eye seeth thee. I have seen all of the works you've done, Lord. I have experienced the informative knowledge of God. I have experienced the intellectual knowledge of God. But he says, but now I get it. He says, I've been in a place where I can see it with my own eyes. It's not just the testimony of the past saints. It's not just the answered prayers of others. But it's my prayer that has been answered. This is the intimate knowledge of God when you can say definitively, I spoke and the Lord heard me. I know he's hearing me. And he wants to help me.